it, if I never experienced it, and I came across it like, somebody that's never heard of it, I might have just talked about it and said, I don't know what's up with these people. They seem to be experiencing this. They claim to be experiencing this. I don't know what it is. That's probably about what would have been the extent of it, But the fact that I've experienced this and, I know that the experience is real, and more than anything else, I know that the experience is real to me. Okay. That's what I'm saying. And I really am starting to redefine it, other than gang stalking, because whoever came up with that term, I believe that that's a deceptive term. You get it when you see it in the algorithm. Oh, that's gang stalking. Oh, okay, this is the thing that these people talk about, that when they claim that they're being followed or watched or targeted with technology or whatever. But I mean, I think we need to redefine the word, because the experience is real, but some people may see people talking about gang stalking, and it may look and come across as something else, and they're never gonna get it. So
Right. I
yeah,
agree. I
there's
agree.
that. But
100%.
so yeah, I didn't want this live stream to be too long. I'm not the one to do hour live streams. I did in the past, but this is gonna be a shorter live stream. I'll probably go a few more minutes and share whatever more information that just kind of comes to me, because I did plan this live stream, but I didn't. I was just kind of like, I should go live. I was gonna go live yesterday, and then it didn't happen. But yeah, I was just kind of like,
So I just watched this video back. This is from Immaterial Man. I think it's from 4 weeks ago, but he talks about something here coming up, and I need to address it. So let's go ahead and finish watching this.
let's just go live. Um, we got we got somebody in the chat. Happy Halloween, Immaterial Man. Wow, they've been excluded, that website, from the Wayback Machine. The Wayback Machine. I don't know what you mean. Wish I did. I never heard of the Wayback.
The Wayback Machine is a website that archives old websites that were on the internet. You can go back and check out a website and exactly how that website was at a certain point in time. And it's like an online archive of everything that was on the internet, and it might have changed by now, or be gone. But yeah, if something's not on the Wayback Machine, it's yeah, that's saying something.
Back Machine. And I don't know. I'm still a little iffy about you, man. Nothing personally against you, but I don't know. I got some question marks around you, man. That's all I'm gonna say. So you keep doing your thing. I'm gonna do my thing. It's whatever. And that's all I gotta say about that. But yeah. Also, I wanted to touch up on like I don't know if some TIs actually are crazy or mentally ill. Like that could be a thing.
I'm sure
That
there
could be a
are.
real thing. Some people may think that they're experiencing gang stalking, or they may think that something's happening to them, but it could be schizophrenia.
Yep.
Like I don't believe that I've ever experienced schizophrenia, or I have it.
Me neither.
See, because here's what I did. Over the years of experiencing this gang stalking phenomenon, I went and I listened to schizophrenics talk about their experience, and I compared it to my own, and I compared it to other people's experiences, and I said to myself, their experience is different. There was only one schizophrenic out of 10 people that I listened to, maybe 15 or whatever, that said that she felt like she was being followed by police and watched in public and stuff like that. But it was more voices in her head and stuff like that. I've never heard a schizophrenic talk about noise campaign, or being sensitized to loud noises, or I've never really heard them talk about going into a grocery store and people just staring at them for no reason, or people coming around the corner perfectly synchronized when you come around the corner, and you guys bump into each other, and this constantly is happening when they're in the store with multiple people at multiple different times. Yeah, like I haven't heard schizophrenics talk like that. Like maybe one or two of them say that they feel like they're being watched in public or this and that, but it's mostly like they hear voices or they think they see a monster outside their house or in their closet, or they look out their window and they think they see a spy or something. Like this one guy, God, I forgot his name, but yeah, he said that one of his hallucinations as a schizophrenic was he would look out his window and he kept thinking that there were spies out there, like like government spies, I guess, or just somebody spying on him. And that's the way that he put it. He put it as, oh, they're spies, like I Spy or some shit. So when he look out the window, he thought like there were a couple spies out there, or just somebody out there spying on him. But now that's different from compared to, say, like I've been in my house before and I'll hear somebody's car alarm outside or somebody shut the door, and it's like my ear is sensitized to it to the point to where it makes me look outside. Like I'm not even looking out there looking for somebody to shut their car door or open it or start the alarm or whatever. I'm not even thinking about that, but when I hear it, I'm sensitized to it.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
yeah, like, so then it just makes me look, and then when I look, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, and then I start going back to what I was doing. But
Just to get
yeah,
your
like it's
attention.
differences in my experience and other people's experiences from what I see, um, and between me and schizophrenics and all that. So
Yeah.
like even
Think about it. It's real simple. We're overthinking this. It's really simple. Just look at the big picture here. Everything they do, everything they do is to get your attention, right? No matter what you're doing, it's to get your attention. Basically, no matter what you're doing, what you're thinking, your thought, your focus automatically shifts and is thinking about that particular thing. It gets your attention, immediately gets your attention. Whether you look or not, it still gets your attention, okay? You can try to ignore it, but it still gets your attention, right? Even if you're ignoring it, it's still in your mind. You're thinking about it, right? That sound or that image of the red car driving by or whatever. So this, I believe, is just a part of their technique to do the research and development on the technology, the Neuralink, to map out our biometric signature. They have to figure out. There's probably a bunch of different categories of people, right? They probably lumped everybody into different categories of different ways of thinking, the way that their brains work, right? And there's probably set patterns of that they can match each person into to where the technology will work for. Okay, if you're this type of person, then you have to set your settings, your Neuralink settings to this, because each person's biometric signature is going to be way different, right? The data that they get from your brain is going to be different, totally different. They're going to have to map each person out, and like it's like decoding a new language. Each single person is like decoding a new language. But I bet you that there's similar patterns with people, types of people, and types of the way that they're thinking, and they're probably trying to figure out the patterns right now so that they can lock it down, so that they can really, really nail down the technology. Because if you get Neuralink and you pay all this money for a technology and it's supposed to be able to type while you think, and you go to use it, it just doesn't work. It's gonna be like, what the fuck? Why doesn't this work for me? People are gonna start asking questions. People will start looking into it, and then people will start. They got to work that shit out first. I think that's what they're doing right now. They're working on that. They're working that shit out. But the disturbing thing is that they're getting all of our data. They're literally, whatever data it is, they're grabbing data and in basically decoding it so they can see what we're thinking at any given time. It's synthetic telepathy is what it is. I mean, let's make no mistake. Neuralink is going to depend on the ability to read your mind. Well, Neuralink by itself, just the things that they're putting out and marketing it for are like nothing. It's just consumer based fucking stuff that just stay stupid, stay stupid. Here, use this, stay stupid. But imagine the stuff that would come along with that technology. Just imagine the different things that you could do with that technology. And they're not even mentioning any of that. They don't want anybody to think about that stuff, you know? Right? I mean, just think of it in a law enforcement point of view. Right? It changes the whole fucking game, doesn't it? Changes the whole game. There's no more confessions because you could just tell what somebody's thinking, right? You don't have to do investigations. They just rape people's minds and see if they did it or not. They just, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally the Minority Report. It's the fucking Minority Report. They're gonna start doing, you know, pre-crimes, right? Because they're also talking about fucking time travel right now. I have another video paused right now that's literally talking about a successful. The CERN has been successful with, I don't know. I gotta look into it a little more. But basically, the headline is stating that CERN changed the timelines, and they've been successful in 25% of the time, able to change the outcome from changing the past. You'll have to look it up and check it out. But anyway, not to drag it out, but yeah, Material Man, Immaterial Man. I believe it's not gang stalking at all. It's not gang stalking. They just did that to so that they can keep doing what they're doing. They need people to experiment on, right? So the best way to discredit those people is to it's a big psyop, right? Let's just say we're gang stalking them, right? Because if half the population believes that if you're being gang stalked, it's because you did something wrong. The other half doesn't believe it exists, and the rest are being gang stalked or doing the gang stalking. It's, you know what I mean. So it's a perfect cover for their human experimentation, non-consensual human experimentation, I might add. So
You know, there's some people that claim, you know, that there's license plates being directed at them and used to target them, or you know, stuff like that.
to get your
And I'm
attention,
not 100% with that. Like,
what's
because
happening?
I mean, there's different names you can put on a license plate. Some states are allow, you know, you to put, you know, a little nickname on there or whatever, or you know, some states don't allow it. Like some states are just numbers, whatever. It just depends on where you are and what you know you're allowed to do. So that can kind of, you know, be explained. Um, and hey, maybe there's some technology out there that's causing some people to you know, be sensitized to seeing license plate numbers and you know to pay attention to patterns and stuff like that. You know, so because if they keep doing that, it's going to drive them crazy, just like any other tactic. You know,
Yeah, I
that
disagree.
or that or what.
I don't think it's designed to drive you crazy. I really don't. Because it's patterns. People notice the patterns. Just because you see a pattern and they throw a pattern in front of you doesn't mean it's going to make you crazy. It's going to get your attention though. Think about that. It's real simple. We're overthinking it. Because think about it. Most of the people they're doing this to are innocent people, right? Innocent people that are easily discredited. So they don't feel so bad doing this because they're not targeting us to kill us. They're targeting us to use us as, you know, it's not what your country can do for you, it's what you can do for your country, right? Think about it. They told the MK Ultra victims that they were serving their country, right? They just can't tell us because it ruins the experiment. It's not a blind study anymore. It has to be non-consensual or else the experiment doesn't work.
You would call a tactic. You know what I mean? So, 'cause I mean, that's what we do as TIs. You know, we come on here and we talk about these tactics that are being used against us, and you know, we almost make it seem like it's some military style tactic invasion type thing going on, where you got people, you know, out there, like you know, paid and ready to, you know, perform these tactics to psychologically, you know, mess with you. And like I said, that can't be proven or disproved. I mean, like somebody would really have to do some strong investigative work. Like you'd have to hire.
I believe there's too many good people in the world for that to be allowed to happen. I really do. I mean, think about it. I don't believe that there's that many secretly evil people out there. It's sorry, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. It's just they can't tell you. That's all. They can't tell you. That's part of the deal. It ruins the whole thing if they tell you. They can't tell you. And I do believe it's being done by the military and DARPA. It's think about it. It's weapons grade technology. If you can think instantaneously, synthetic telepathy. Imagine what that would do on the battlefield, right? So yes, I think they're using all the former, the voice of God weapon. All this technology is all encompassed in this big experiment. But this experiment has different mini experiments within it. You know what I mean? There's different parts of the experiment to find out different things. The whole thing, though, the whole project is the new technology they're trying to develop. I believe we're not going to hear about it for quite a while. I don't think.
Like a real private investigator to be out there on the streets when you're out there, or to be watching your house to prove some of that. Same with the break-ins. Like you got some TIs claiming to be broken in on, but then they claim that when they set up a video camera, it either doesn't catch anything or the camera goes out. Come on, man. Like, it just seems a little far-fetched. And I mean, look,
All right, that's what I wanted to address here. I left you a comment in Material Man underneath this video, and it's more or less a story, but I can sum it up real quick. And this absolutely happened. Whether you believe me or not, it's up to you. I don't really care. But it's important that I put it out there for you because it might change your perspective on it. My targeting started whenever I noticed I noticed the loud cars driving around, revving their engine around the block, and I mean, I that stuff normally doesn't bother me, so it probably took them a while to get my attention. But whenever I noticed clips of my security camera footage, right? Just certain clips would go missing, and I had paid for 24/7 cloud recording, right? And there's no reason why it should have been glitching, so I had to look in it. I looked into it, and I couldn't find any reason to explain it, so I started paying attention, and I put a pattern together. I noticed that it was only certain vehicles that would make it do it. There was vehicles I could attach to the missing recording. So whenever my security cameras would glitch out and just like blank out and wouldn't record, I could pick out a certain set of vehicles that always were right around the area when that happened, were right around the block. So they had some device on them, and they were DDoSing my network or something like that, And maybe they did it just to get my attention. I don't know. I have no way of knowing that, but it happened. So then I went and bought an NVR, right? A network video recorder with multiple cameras. I set it up, and they changed the settings on me. They would change the date and time to screw me all up whenever I'm trying to look back at certain times and dates of recordings. So I eventually ripped out the Wi-Fi the Wi-Fi antennas and hardwired the whole thing so that nobody could you couldn't connect to it wirelessly, right? I shut that function off, and it was just hardwired, a local closed circuit security system with an NVR hardwired together, and not on the wide area network, not on the internet. So after I did that, they could see what I was doing in my apartment. I could see that much, and I would always just change up my IP addresses on my camera, my network cameras. But they did something. They started shutting my cameras off just when I would look at them. See, I got in the habit. It's a bad habit. If you have security cameras, sometimes you can't help but just like watch what's going on them. So I put the monitor 90 degrees to the right so that I couldn't see it. Normally, if I was in my living room, I had to turn my head to look at it, and up, and I put it on a small monitor. So I did that, and I just got done changing the IP addresses on everything. So it was a fresh change. So there's no way anybody, if they had captured the IP and somehow could still connect to it. I just was taking precautions, taking steps to ensure that they would, lose their access to it. But I did this right after I changed the IP addresses and everything. I sat down and I went to change my focus, right? And I was watching TV, and then, I don't know where I decide I'm going to just look over. I go to look over at my monitor, and as soon as I look over at my monitor, boom, they shut one of the cameras off. Not all of them, just one of them. And this happened multiple times. And so then that had me going, like, how are they doing this? How the hell are they doing this, right? So I went and bought, I thought they were doing it through the receptacles, right? They're somehow controlling the outlets, because I determined that these two cameras that didn't shut off were on this outlet, but this camera that shut off was on this other outlet, right? So I was like, okay. So then I went and bought a battery backup, a UPS. You can, it's for your like computer and different things, so that if the power goes out, you don't lose your files, and it doesn't allow the power to get cut off. It's constant power. If the power shuts off, it immediately switches over to the battery backup, and the cameras would stay recording. I wouldn't miss any recording, is what I'm saying. So, and they obviously didn't like this, right? They really relied on their ability to control my cameras. Like, that's part of it, is if you can record them and they can't access your cameras, you have one up on them. I do believe that. So, because I've been able to do that and change the game. But it was only through testing and experimenting with this stuff and finding out what worked, what didn't. So I get the UPS battery and ordered it, and UPS is set to deliver it. And I set it up. I paid for the UPS My Choice and set it up so that they had to get my signature, meaning they had to knock on my door and get my signature. I did this so that nobody could steal my package, that I could make sure that, because they would fuck with my packages, they'd fuck with my deliveries and shit, right? They fuck with my mail. So I set that up, and then I had 2 packages coming that day. They went and delivered me 1 package, and I'm watching the UPS vehicle drive around. They didn't deliver my battery, and it said that it was set to be delivered that day. It said it was on the truck. So I'm like, why didn't they deliver it? I'm pretty sure UPS has a smart enough system that they just deliver both packages at the same time. They wouldn't be that inefficient and drive around because they didn't know I had another package in the truck. You know what I mean? But for some reason, they drove around for 2 or 3 hours. And then I'm like, well, I finally gave up. I was like, well, they're not going to deliver my fucking battery then. I didn't think they'd come back. And then all of a sudden, I hear a big wham, right? And it fucking scared the shit out of me. It was so loud, it made me jump. And it was right outside my door. So I went and opened my door, and there's a box sitting there, right? And the box is from UPS, and it's all ripped up, and like I could shove my whole arm inside this box, right? It's like ripped open on the side. So I open it up, and it's my battery backup, sure enough. And I checked it out, and I thought about returning it, but I thought, no, as soon as I try to do that, they're going to fucking do something right away. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have time. I need to just use it right away. I pulled it out, and you can set it up, hook it to a certain software on your PC, and you can control the different outlets on the backup, on the battery backup. But not only that, you can monitor the voltage coming from the receptacle. So wherever you plug it in, you can actually monitor the circuits in your home. You know what I mean? Wherever you have it plugged in at. And I thought that was a really cool feature. But the only thing that was wrong with it after they smashed it on the ground, I don't think that is what caused this thing to break. I think they broke it out on purpose so I couldn't set it up. The port to connect it to my PC, that's the only thing that was broke on the damn thing, right? It's just missing, gone. So I still to this day, I need to solder a new one on. But that happened, and I plugged the damn thing in, right? And after like a week or so, all of a sudden, they were able to shut my cameras off again. And it's plugged into the battery backup. It didn't make any sense at all, right? Except that's whenever I actually read the manual and found all this out. I found out you could configure it, and you could set you could set different outlets on the backup to shut off at different times and different shit like that. So I believe that they might have done it when I wasn't there. I believe they accessed it somehow and they configured it so that they could then shut the damn cameras off anyway whenever they want to. Eventually, I gave up. Yeah, I just gave up and I said, there's nothing. I thought the whole thing was just to distract me and waste my time because it did that. It did a very good job at that. But I did determine quite a lot from doing the experiments, and you can determine, what's their motive, what are they trying to do, and everything else by doing these little things based on what I did. Changed the game, changed what they did, changed their tactics, changed different things, and they do require your cell phone. Somehow they have your cell phone. I believe it's your cell phone is not the cell phone that you think it is, because I ordered cell phones online, and when one didn't work, I issued a return merchandise through Amazon, and they said, okay, well, you'll get your refund as soon as you ship it back to us, right? And they gave me the shipping label, and I set up a box and pretended to ship it out. I made sure that people saw me putting a box in the mailbox like I was returning it, right? And they saw what I was doing in my apartment. So in their eyes, they thought that I shipped that phone back, right? But I didn't. All I did was mailed an empty box to my mom's house across town. But they never delivered the box. They never delivered the empty box to my mom's house. I mailed an empty box to my mom's house, and it never got there. But but it did happen. Like the next day or 2 days later, I got an email from the company saying they got my return, and they issued me a refund. So then I went even further. I contacted the seller on Amazon, and I asked them if they in fact got a phone back, because I didn't send them one. They said yes, they absolutely got a phone back. So somebody sent them a phone back. I didn't. Okay, that tells you everything you need to know right there. That means they hijacked my phone in transit, the one that I ordered through Amazon, and they gave me their phone, whatever device they pre-configured or whatever. Right? I believe they set up the device, and that's one way they can get a device to you to monitor everything, right? They just hijack it in transit. So that means the FedEx and UPS and the USPS, they're all involved, obviously. Obviously. They'd have to be, wouldn't they? And I have all this evidence, right? Except for the phone. The phone they got whenever they broke into my apartment and arrested me at gunpoint, and then they stole all my shit. That phone was hidden in a microwave in the closet. I swear to God. And they got all that, along with a bunch of my old phones that were broke, a bunch of phones that I had, because I bought so many phones in the course of 2 years trying to figure this whole thing out and what the fuck was going on. But I did determine that much, and I also determined that another thing they did was mobile device management is a technology that companies use to control cell phones they give to their employees, right? But you can have a mobile device management plan and never even touch the cell phone, right? Meaning if I have the serial number, the IMEI number for that phone, I can just put it on my mobile device management plan if I have one and control that device remotely. And the end user, I could set it up in such a way so that the end user would never even know. He wouldn't know a damn thing. He wouldn't know that his phone was different from the next guy's unless he was able to see the next guy's phone. But you isolate the target, and you make it so that, you just take away a little bit here and there, and they don't notice it, right? Like my phone, this phone right here, I noticed it and I forget about it, but my haptics never work. The sounds, the haptics, and it's not this phone, it's every phone for the last 3 phones I've had. The haptic sounds don't work. Sometimes, every once in a while, they will. But I don't know why that is, right? When I press the keys, like to type, you can't hear anything. But, if you're sharing your screen or your screen recording, that also happens whenever you do that, where you can't hear the haptic sounds. When you're recording your screen, or somebody else is, right? Or somebody else is recording your screen. But I looked up one of my phones a couple years ago, and to check, there's a software you could pay. I paid for it, like $30, and you could punch in your serial number, and it would tell you if your phone was on a mobile device management plan or not. And that's all that it could do, because it doesn't know if it's my phone or their phone, you know. But I was able to find out that my phone was, in fact, on a mobile device management plan, and I didn't put it on there. So that was a couple years ago. But all these things I found out, yes, they were coming in my apartment, because there were holes that would appear on my wall, and then they would get painted over the next day. How did that happen? You know, and holes in my ceiling that would then get painted over. So they were coming in when I wasn't there and touching up the fucking walls, right? I found all kinds of little pinholes in my walls. I could go on and on all day, but I was convinced that they were spying on me through pinhole cameras in my apartment. They came up from the apartment below me up through the walls, and they had, it takes a tiny little pinhole to be able to see with these cameras. Look up pinhole cameras, and you'll see. But yeah, I'm not going to say how I know, because they'll use it against me, but let's just say I did an experiment that told me without a shadow of a doubt, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, they could see exactly what I was doing in my apartment. Exactly. To the point where if I had a button, right, that I could push and set off a landmine, right? And a perp come walking up and he could see what I was doing in my apartment, and I went to hit the button, he would jump on the ground and duck, you know what I mean? Like to that extent. Put it that way. I was able to determine that they could absolutely see what I was doing in my apartment, period. And I'm not going to say how I did it, but you can take my word for it or not. But that's something that happened. So you don't have to believe me, Immaterial Man, but I understand. I'd be skeptical too if I just heard that and people were saying that, but you don't have any evidence to back it up. So I'd be skeptical too. It sounds kind of far-fetched, right? But I can't, prove it to you or anything. It's just, all I can do is tell you what happened to me, and that's about it. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But I think that, my story, if you choose to take my word for it, give me the benefit of the doubt, I think that story would probably change your perspective on that idea that you don't think that they were, coming in people's apartment and stuff.
Sometimes, when an actual burglary is going on, like, yeah, okay, maybe the burglar might find your camera and smash it, so there's no video evidence. You might have a mask on. Like, I'm sure that those instances happen, but the way that some guys explain it, they say, oh, I'm being broken in on every time I leave to go to work, every time I leave my house. The only thing that happens is a couple items get moved around. And it's like, okay, I could see how that would, could be used to mess with your head. But after, like, let's just say that was happening after a period of time, like, why would they still do that after 5 years?
Yeah, you're right there.
It's like, if you didn't go crazy or like go attack your neighbor, then obviously, that tactic failed. So,
right.
But it's just a little far-fetched to believe that they didn't capture anything on video or somebody didn't see something. Like, usually when a burglar breaks into a house, like, most of the time a neighbor sees something or hears something or something like that,
Well, the neighbors are all in on it.
I don't know. But
mine were.
Yeah. It's this whole experience is just interesting. Okay? Like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't sit here, and say, oh, I want to experience, gang stalking.
That's one way to put it.
I don't know, man. Like, it just happened. It just came to me. It just happened one day, and here I am, trying to explain the shit. So
I hear you. I hear you there.
And for me, like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird experience. And honestly, like, I really hope that one day it just stops and it just goes away and I don't experience this shit no more, and I'll never make another video on it again, other than to say, hey, I no longer experienced this. Who knows what it was, but it's over now. I'm good.
No, I want
to see, because here's another difference between like me, or someone like me versus, somebody who's really off mentally or has drug problems. Is that, like, I have healthy relationships with my coworkers at work. even if I think that some gang stalkerish shit might be going on, okay, I know how to overlook that shit, do my job. I have good relationships with my coworkers. I have a decent social life. I don't have a lot of friends. That's by choice because I don't know. It's just by choice.
That's probably why they
But I have
targeted
a
you.
few people that I talk to or go hang out with from time to time. And
I'm the same.
but like yeah, like I'm not so far gone with this experience that it's like driving me crazy, literally, to where I need to like be in a straitjacket.
Right.
You know, so or I need like medication right away, or I need to go to where do they go, the medical hospital, or to go see the physician or whatever.
The psych ward.
Yeah, like
The psych ward.
it's not nothing like that. Even when I experience like the sensitization to noises, or when I'm out and about, or I see some weird shit, or somebody looks at me funny, or I bump into somebody constantly in the store, or it seems like people are doing shit on purpose.
I just smile
It's
at 'em.
like, to a degree, I'm able to overlook it and still operate normally.
Right.
Yep. I take care of my finances. I know how to budget my money, stuff like that. I mean, life ain't easy by far, especially when you're experiencing this. And I already had issues and problems before this experience, but I'm just saying, like, this shit has not messed me up like that. So I know that I'm mentally sane, and whatever I'm experiencing, it's real.
Yep.
And the only thing I can do is try to talk about it and explain it, and maybe somebody will get it, outside of the TI community. But anyways, yeah, with that said, I'm probably going to end this live stream. I'm going to go live again at some point in time. I don't know when, but you can come catch me when you catch me. And with that said, holla back. Peace.
I think you should go live more often, because I feel the same way you do. I'm in the same position you do, but unfortunately, a lot of people aren't. And they need our help.
What is up, everyone? TGI Web Show! We got a lot of great topics for you guys today, which really sucks because...
All right, so yeah, they need our help. Hold on a second here.
What's going on, people? How's everybody?
Okay, so a lot of people are... I'm sure there's people in the same situation as you and I. I can relate to everything you just said pretty much as far as my social life. I don't have a lot of friends, but I get along with everybody. Even my perps, I smile at them, I talk to them. They say little comments and shit, and it just makes me laugh. I just go about my day. But a lot of people aren't as strong-minded, and they're not able to deal with it as easy. And I feel like you coming on here and giving your testimony and explaining it the way you do will help people out. It can only help people out. It's not going to hurt, that's for sure. It might help a lot of people out, as a matter of fact. So I hope you come on more often. This is actually the first time I've ever watched. Well, it might have been a while, like a year ago. I think I have watched you, but it's been a year. I mean, that's way too long, buddy. There's too many people going through this, and they need somebody's help, and there's nobody to help explain anything or put it into perspective for them. And they're in a constant state of panic and stress. And it's not right, and it's not cool. And I think you can do a lot of good by coming on more often. You do you. I mean, you do what you got to do. But I thought that thought it was important to make this video to see if it widens your perspective, or gives you a different perspective, or widens your view on the whole thing. I still think it's just a big, huge exploitation of a certain class of people to do human, non-consensual human experimentation because they're greedy fuckers and they need to experiment on somebody. And monkeys aren't going to do the trick. They can't do it with monkeys, And nobody's ever going to give them permission to do it to humans. And it only works if you do it to humans that don't know it's being done to them, or else the experiment doesn't work. How do you do a blind study, with people that don't, you know what I mean? That you tell. If you told people, they were an experiment, it would change the results. If they agreed to be to be experimented on at some point in time, they don't know when, it still would change the results no matter what. You'd have to do it to people who would be kind of like against that, So, and people that are isolated, people that don't have a lot of friends, people that are highly intelligent, people that are maybe easy to discredit, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to end the video. But I hope you watch this, and I hope this helps some people out. So, if you have anything to add to it, put it in the comments. And whatever you do, be good. Or be good at it. Peace out.